My name's Jerry Hozick, and I'm with Team Collaboration Software LLC, and I'm going to demonstrate a piece of technology we call Municipal Works. It's designed to allow multiple departments grant and authorize access to key information and share that across not only departments within a city, but cities can share it with other communities or counties or agencies. Even the public could be granted certain access, or commercial entities such as Detroit Edison, those kinds of folks can all be authorized to access and share information across with each other. So here's an example of how just a city might share information amongst itself. So for example, all the departments could be able to access a common help request system. So let's query, for example, all of the open requests that we have for the water department. And here's an example, ice all over the road, water running into the basement, and it's been determined that there's a broken water main, and the address who called this in is 1241 Abbey Lane, and it was right now it's open and there's no status comment. So let's go to 1241 Abbey Lane. And the database knows, for example, the streets that would have this particular address range, and bring those up. And I could have gone to the street or an intersection or a landmark. And we've also developed some technology that allows you to play the data where it's originally created, most often, which are CAD/CAM files. So we're able to link the information in a traditional database such as Oracle to information in traditional CAD/CAM such as AutoCAD or MicroStation, for example. And here this is being maintained in MicroStation by the planning department, all of the address ranges. And because I'm in the water department for this particular scenario, the tool allows me to remember which maps I had open last, so I don't have to go individually open them every time. So in this scenario, let's go back to the database. Not only can you go from the database to the map, but you can in turn go from the map back to the database. So I'm going to click on that address, 1241, and sure enough, here's the help request. And if instead I clicked on the address next door, they don't have any help requests open. So now what I'm going to do is click on the water main. And one of the issues they have is isolating a particular water main segment. It's not always easy to determine what gate valves you need to isolate a particular water main. Some of these may have up to 5 or 6 gate valves. Here's a form that we can identify which gate valves this particular water main is associated with, and I can go locate those. So I'm going from the database to the map, and from the map to the database interactively here. The other problem that they had was the guys would be some of these gate valves aren't lefty-loosey, righty-tighty. They actually are opposite, and the guys would put a pipe wrench on rather than try it both directions and bust the gate valve. So we have in the database the ability to track any kind of information attributes that you would like. So the turn direction was important to them, as well as size, the type of gate valve, that sort of thing. So one of the other things that we can do is what we call find data by query, which is really a spatial query, an ad hoc spatial query. So We can place a fence, a circle, a shape, a zone. Let's just place a block around the entire city. And for this scenario, let's go find all of the parcels, if I've been granted access, that have an assessment. So we're actually able to look at the database, see what attributes you've been granted access, and we can query, say all of those where the assessment is greater than or equal to $70,000. So this is the only time I'm touching the keyboard, is to type in that amount, and you can see it's building the query automatically. We also have the ability to store what we call query sets, so you could define a number of ranges. So if you wanted to do a thematic map where you're color coding, say, all the parcels from 0 to 50,000 one color, and from 50 to 70 another, and from 70 to 100 another, and so on. So once we find the parcels that meet that criteria, we're able to fill, say, them whatever color. Let's make it blue. We can also define a report and send that to a report. We can update the database, a number of things. But let's just take a look, a little more detail. So what we're saying is, in blue, have assessments greater than or equal to 70,000. So I'm going to click on one of these parcels here, and we can see that's assessed at 15,400. That's well under 70,000. And let's click on this parcel, and this one's assessed at 105,000. So indeed, that's over 70,000. So that's just one example of a spatial query. We could, for example, query all of the gate valves that are opposite direction to close, or we could query all of the addresses to see what open help requests there are. Let's just take a look at some of the features that this particular municipality was interested in, and the different departments: building footprints, right-of-ways, curbs, address, lots and dimensions. This was of interest to the fire department and the police department. Certainly addresses and building footprints. Parcels and zone maps and assessments. Sanitary was interested in sewer mains and manholes, manhole covers, catch basins. The streets department was interested in streets and trees and street lights. The water department, fire hydrants, water mains, gate valves, etc. So that concludes my presentation, and again, I'm with Team Collaboration Software, and I appreciate your attention. Thank you very much.